Let's chop up a soul sample, see what we can come up with. Hey, what's up, guys? TC from TCMuze.com. What we're going to do here today is we're just going to make a quick little sample beat. I got inspired because I wanted to chop up some beats kind of like in the essence of J Dilla, Pete Rock, just all those old school, or should I say true school hip hop pioneers that brought in that soulful type sound. So what I did is I challenged myself to sample myself. So how I did that is I came up and I just made a little composition. Let's jump into the DAW and check it out. All right, so what we're gonna do, as you can see here, I just brought up some instruments, started working with them, and then came up with some progressions. I tried to program in some drums that would sound like they came off of a vinyl record. It sounded horrible. So when I finally decided to export the sample, I muted the drums because they sounded terrible. Let's take a listen to the final sample that came out. All right, so I think that came out pretty decent. I just put together some extended chords really quickly, and then I did some processing just to make sure, the sample sounded all together and dated, just so it would sound like it kind of came off a record. So the first thing I did was I put all the instruments into one room and made it into put it into one reverb. Therefore, it gave it kind of a sense of space, like it was all being played within one room. Then what I did is I acted like it was recorded to tape and put in a tape saturator X plug-in to give it that little tape warmth. Then what I did to glue it all together, I put an SSL comp on it just to give it a little squeeze. Then I played around with the EQ a little bit, cut off a lot of, well, I won't say a lot, but cut off a significant amount of the lows, pulled out some low mids to get rid of muddiness. Didn't do much here. And then the last thing I did was I just simply put on a limiter just to get some type of volume and then further just even out some of the dynamics. So what I decided to do after that was drop it into Kontakt, started chopping it up. Let's go underneath the hood. What I did was I ended up just dropping the sample in on B2. Here, let me show you, and you will be able to hear like the whole sample's there on B2. See, it's playing the whole sample there. What I did was I pitched it down by 2 semitones. And then I looked at it and I said, okay, you guys have this pretty decent auto chop feature, and I know how many bars and the tempo that it is. So what I did is I put the auto chop in, and it chopped it up really nicely, except for this last part here. What I wanted to do was I didn't want as many quarter note chops. I wanted half notes to full bar chops so I can get a full. You see, I wanted to get those full chords without having them chopped up at all. So what I just did was I went in there and just deleted some of the chops that they suggested. Then hit my little auto map function. And it just threw everything right up here. And I ended up with the whole sample spread across the keyboard. And when I first tried to put a little something together, I was trying everything all over the board. And then what I did, I went back and I listened to some Pete Rock and J Dilla stuff. And then I listened to the source material that they kind of sourced their beats from. And I realized they're not doing it a lot. What they're doing is they're keeping it simple, making some subtle alterations, and then putting some nice drums behind it and calling it a day. So I let my thoughts of, I need to flip this crazy. And I said, let's just use what's there to its advantage and then just throw some drums and a bass line behind it. So kind of that's what I did. So I ended up right here. I just used that, looped that up. Then I used another section here. And then of course I use those chords at the end. So I'm gonna just plug it, excuse me. So I'm just gonna play it in right quick, record it, sequence it. You guys can see how it's made. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna quantize all my stuff. I know some people say don't quantize, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the strength down to like 70%. That way it still retains some human type of elements when I program it in, but it's still quantized a bit so my playing doesn't get sloppy and influence too badly the swing of the song. So first thing I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to play in that sample. So let's check it out. Cool. So I got that in, played pretty decently, but I could tell that there was one chop that wasn't quite right, or wasn't played in quite right. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go and fix it really quickly. We'll go to the event list really quickly. We're on MIDI 2. Might as well label that. It's the sample chop. Cool. So we got our sample chop. And let's play it back, see which one it is. There it is. It's that one right there. So let's just move it over. And let's see if that fixed it. Gonna move that one over just a little bit too also. There we go. If you're liking the video, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Really helps the channel. All right, back to it. All right, so we got that sequence in for our sample. Now for the drums, what I wanted to do was I just wanted to go into the battery kit. I mean battery plug-in. I loaded in this Magnum kit from the Helios machine sound expansion because it kind of has something that's along the lines to what I want to hear. A little breakbeatish, a little dirty, a little dusty. So I wanted to just take a second and then program my drums in accordingly. For this, I wanted to have a little bit of a swing, so I kept my quantize at 70%, but then threw the chirplet type fill in on it. So let me program in the drums right quick. All right, so now that I put the drums in, what I wanted to do was put in one of those bouncy Dilla-esque type of bass lines. So I just went to massive, got something basic, just a sine wave, kind of sub bass. All right, let's check out this bass line I came up with. Cool, now that we got that in, I think everything's good, except for I was late on one of the notes at the end of the bass line. So I'll just go ahead and kind of get that in time with the sample. So there's nothing crazy off here. Let's see which one of those. Yeah, that second one you can see there versus there. I was off. So let's just pull that up. So that needs to come back. that one used to go start there. You see them lining up right there. So let's see what we got. Cool, cool. Actually, I think I'm gonna change the drum kicks that are there also. Boom. I think I'm just gonna play it on each one. The double kick I think I'm gonna get rid of. All right, took a little finessing, but we got it there. And then that's kind of just where I ended up, yeah. You know, just something nice, easy, Dilla-esque. That was not too hard, not too simple, but at the same time quite enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? All right, so if you're a fan of this type of music, I'm gonna just let it ride out, and we'll catch y'all next time.